Now about making drawings of stairs in a set of plans. In a set of plans, you draw the steps and an arrow showing whether they go up or down, and you label them with how many risers there are. So let's figure out what the total rise is of this flight of stairs. Let's say each riser is 7 inches. It's a standard height. And this plan view here says these stairs go up and there are 17 risers. So how high is this thing? Well, we've got 17 of those. Each one is 7 inches high. 17 times 7 is 119. So that total rise is 119 inches. Or if you want to convert it to feet and inches, it's just an inch less than 10 feet. It's 9 feet 11. Now, if you're designing this thing yourself, you want to figure out how many risers and how high they can be. So here's what you do. It's calculator time. You know what the total rise is. You know where your first floor is. You know where your second floor is. There's your total rise. And you know that the building code tells you you cannot have risers any more steep than 7 3/4. If they're higher than that, you're violating the code. So first thing to do is take your total rise, that total height from first floor to second floor, divided by 7 3/4 to find out how many steps will you need at least. You'll need at least that many. And then round up. So let's say, I don't know a number, but let's say you took your total rise, you divided it by 7 3/4, and you found out you would have 14.4 risers. Well, that's not an even number of steps. You can't have any steeper, so you can't round down. So if you got 14.4 risers, you'd better round up to 15 risers. Okay, now we know to fill our total rise, we need 15 risers. Now, how high will they be really? Well, here's our total rise divided by 15 will give you the height of the risers. Now, how about the treads? We do something similar. We know how long the run is we have to fill. And we know that we can't have our treads be any shorter than 10 inches. So we'll need at least 10 inches deep, preferably more. So we can do that, the same kind of calculation, the run divided by 10 to find out the minimum number of treads we need, round to find out round down to find out what they really are. And if you look at, let me back up here to this thing. If you look at a set of stairs, you'll notice that you have one more riser than you have treads, because the top floor is a landing, it's not a tread. So if you have 14 risers, you'll have 13 treads. You could use the offset command to make steps, and I admit that's what I do. I just go offset, offset, offset. My little pea brain can handle that. But there's a command in AutoCAD called divide that's kind of useful. And if you know where your stairs start and stop, you can draw one diagonal line from there to there, type the word divide in your AutoCAD command line, and what it will do is it will put a series of point functions along that line at that however many divisions you asked for, it will put a point at each one of those. And then there's a node O snap at each one of those, and you can attach a line to it. That method is a variation on what people used to do in the days of board drafting, when they'd get a strip of paper and actually lay it over their paper drawing and mark out lines. All right, so you've figured out the treads and the risers, and now you're going to draw your stairs in plan view. You, of course, need to dimension what the width will be, and you need to tell them how many risers you're going to have, how high they are, and you'll have an arrow pointing up or down. If this were a first floor floor plan, then your arrow would point in this direction and you'd use the word up. This is a couple of plans out of our book. So here's the same set of stairs. Down below on the main floor, or the first floor plan, there's an arrow with the word up. When you do the second floor plan, the upper level floor plan, there's that same set of stairs, but now you have an arrow pointing the opposite direction, and it's labeled down, or DN for down. In some plan views, you will wind up having the stairs on the first floor and the stairs coming down from the second floor appearing in the same plan view, and so you can use one of those squiggly break lines on each flight of stairs. And notice that squiggly break line. I think we've looked at that, I forget, it might have been in our section detail drawing where we talked about how you just draw these by hand, just a plain old line, make a squiggle, there you go. Then you'll draw in the walls or whatever else goes in there, and you'll add notes telling the builder about the treads and the risers, and any information about material, other stuff, you know, like fire blocks, handrails, guardrails, all that kind of thing.